James Dominguez.
How's everybody doing today?
Doing good. I'm actually getting our guests and letting them know that we're going to be talking to them here shortly.
Sounds good. A lot of stuff going on this week, and pretty excited about it. I just had a long talk about Lomachenko and Rigondeaux, mostly Rigondeaux, taking hate for Rigondeaux because everybody seems to think that Rigondeaux wants to fight everybody, which is not the case. I mean, it's easy to call everybody out when they're moving up in weight, when everybody's moving up in weight, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, I would imagine Rigondeaux wants to take that fight. I mean, he's looking for guys too.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think, it's not a fight that he really wants. I mean, I'm sure that he wishes there was a couple other bigger names out there that wasn't as talented.
Well, my thing is this: it's easy to get on Twitter and flex your Twitter fist, say you want to fight so and so at 130, or you want to fight this guy at 130, but then when it comes down to it, you don't have shit to say in person.
Well, it's intriguing though. I mean, everybody's going to be talking about it.
And I'm not talking about just Lomachenko, I'm just talking about in general.
But again, I'll go back to that too, though. I mentioned this a little while back. I don't think that's so much the fighter, though. The fighters don't really have a say too much that who they can fight and what they want. I mean, this goes back to like when I was supposed to have that fight with Paul Williams.
Yeah.
I literally pulled out myself one time. That's when I had the staph infection, which was well documented.
Yeah.
I mean, it was in Sports Illustrated and everything else in my hand. But they negotiated that fight a time before that, and there was a disagreement between promoters.
Yeah.
And that was not, like I said, I would have loved it. Why would I not have wanted that fight? That Paul Williams was coming up from maybe 147.
What was Paul Williams making a spectacle of himself, trying to convince everybody he was scared of him?
No, not really. Not. But again, so a lot of these times, a lot of these fights that are not made, it's not the fight though. Canelo fight, GG, when it was supposed to happen, they were talking about a year and a half ago. That still felt, look what De La Hoya priced that fight at.
Yeah.
90-20 or 90-10.
Well, and that was my point. So no fighter wants to take that risk of fighting Rigondeaux at when they're paying.
Yeah.
What, $12,000 to his $75,000 or $15,000? They're not going to do it.
Well, going back on that too, you got to fight. Who's going to have the upper hand in that fight? That's where you start getting the tough negotiations. Like, what fighter is going to say, "Hey, I'm the bigger draw, I'm the bigger name, I'm the better fighter"?
Well, when it comes to Lomachenko and stuff like that, it's going to.
But in the boxing world, where people are just as big of a fan and respect him and his fighting skills every bit as much as they do Lomachenko.
Sure.
I know we do. Like I said, I think of that fight, I give a slight edge to Lomachenko in the skills division, and I say that because he puts more pressure on and makes those moves.
Exactly.
And I give him a little more. I lean towards Lomachenko because of the weight difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that backwards sound coming on. But yeah.
So, again, that's something that kind of falls. Hey, I wanted to bring up something funny, man. So, through Facebook, a person, somebody, they put out that to this day, that they still had the best guest by far on their boxing show. And the boxing show was out of Youngstown.
I saw that.
It was Youngstown, out of Youngstown.
Yeah.
It was actually my boxing show.
Yeah.
And the names got on there because the show was affiliated with Pavlik. I was just thinking, like, man, Diggs. You know what I mean? Like, something's bothering somebody, for them to mention that. This is funny.
Was he listening to the show and he said that?
I don't know. No, it was just a post about how good their show was. I should say our.
Well, I gotta give before we go on further, I want to give a shout out to our producer, Justin. This guy's amazing. He's the best one we've had so far.
Funny looking too, but he's definitely
Awesome.
Look at this.
We have this awesome back screen. Like, we can
fan
see
block
it.
trying to be like you.
Look, we got this awesome.
though, because he's got the shape that a little buzz.
Well, we got this awesome back screen. Like, we can see Punchline back here. It's pretty awesome. We can see it.
Stuff. You got to work on the delay, but yeah, eventually we're going to still have another thing going, but don't want to point to the TV way off.
It's amazing though.
You'll get used
Oh,
to
there
it.
it is. Yeah, see, it's 10-second delay, so you got to see Saul World.
Also, I want to give a shout out to Jeremy Flanagan and Jeremy's boxing channel. He has great just matchups and he's very technical. I like that.
Yeah.
And also Youngstown Boxing.
Definitely. Yeah, you know, Youngstown boxing.
What's up, Jeremy?
I like that because you got a lot of people who are in Youngstown that just hopped into boxing because they see money and they had a little taste of it.
Yeah.
But Youngstown boxing legitimately puts things on there, and they do it. They go as far as they can go with it, and
Yeah.
they keep everybody updated. They're not biased. They're not one-sided, and they try to support the local boxing and the up-and-coming guys. And I do appreciate that. And it's a nice site, it really is. I mean, I find myself going there, you know, to check out some things that are going on.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So
It is. And I mean, we've had a lot of good support lately, more than we've had in a long time with some of the different other outlets. I mean, when we first got started, we had a lot of other shows that were jealous and started arguments, fights. They're not even on the air anymore, by the way. So
yeah,
yeah, but I mean, we have guys now that are actually consider friends from other outlets that help us out. You know, look at a guy like Jeremy. Look at a guy like Jeremy and and then Youngstown Boxing always sharing us. And then we got guys like Dante in Vegas, Dante's Boxing,
yeah.
always helping us out. And it's
You know,
amazing.
you know, those are established and good shows too. Though.
Yeah, they are good shows.
You know, yeah, you know, that's established.
I
You
use
got
those.
this whole little thing.
Well, I think we used their show. I know I used their show to kind of backdrop ours so I could learn what we were doing. Because when we got into this, we had no idea about. All we knew were box. We had no technical idea. We just figured this out on a
The
week.
funny thing is, we still like we just started, and our producer goes, Justin, he's like, all right, man, you guys are going live right now.
What do you mean live?
Yeah, and you know, as you can see, we have our laptop, but we're looking at that to see if there's any
Comments.
comments or anything. Yeah, so there's nothing scripted, or we don't put down outlines or notes or anything
No.
like that. So
I think
we
if
got boxing on the mind and mind on the box.
it became more scripted, I think the show would be really bad. It's not robots. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I think Lomachenko is a wonderful fighter.
Get the truth out there, how it really feel.
Really,
I was just thinking about, you know, that.
well, like we were just talking about, though. I'm telling you, nobody beats Lomachenko at 130. Well, it doesn't happen. He's not being beat at 130.
No, not at all.
Rigondeaux can move up if he wants, but he's going to get beat.
I don't really see him losing at 135.
No,
And I do see at 140.
140 that he won.
Yeah, now he's getting in deep water.
Deep water.
But what his skill level, he will do just fine in that way.
He could beat a lot of guys at 140 easily. A lot of guys there. They're just certain. They're just like Mikey. Mikey would do great at 147. But there are certain guys you want to mess with at that weight.
Justin, how come I can't see any questions on my screen?
I don't know. I can see some people are just making some other comments here.
Okay.
Hey, Dave Mart said, my boy said you don't talk enough about boxing.
Who said that?
Dave Mart, he said his boy, Dave Mart, we're trying, brother. We're trying to talk enough about boxing. You guys got any questions? Go ahead and ask. And look at Brett, you two youths are doing great. Thank you, Brett. You got to get us one of those sponsorships from Chevrolet, brother.
Yeah, he said we don't talk much about boxing.
He said his boy said that. He did.
Oh,
You know who Dave Mart is? Damon.
yeah.
That's Damon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He changes it so many times. He changes it more than Jordan Fisher.
You know why? Because he gets kicked off and banned every week from something. He's worse than we are.
Billy Greenwald. What's up, Bruce? Billy was a hell of a fighter.
Virgil. My homie Virgil's on.
Yeah, but Billy does a little of all different types of fighting.
My cousin John Davis is on. John used to watch me as a little kid. As a little kid, he used to watch me boxing training. He was a little guy. I'd show him how to box. He was, I don't know, probably 9, 8 years old. I was a teenager, probably about 16. I worked with him. And George Adlon came. Hey, George. And yeah, we do remember Orlando when he said that we don't talk boxing. That we need to take notes because that's how his homie show does.
And Dale goes, Remember Orlando? Good dick, man.
And McKenzie showed up today. That's my girl though.
Hey man, did you hear anything, what's going on with the voluntary award, maybe we signed up with Top Right?
You know what? I heard the first thing about that from Karen Tate yesterday. She asked me about that. She said it was on our Twitter. Oh, that's great. Thanks for some updating our Twitter, not letting us know. But yeah, I mean, and Damon, yeah, Riggo does have enough power to keep Loma at bay. But does Riggo have the chin to keep Loma from knocking him out? That's the problem in there, But Riggo does have one punch knockout power. I think he might hit every bit as hard as Lomachenko.
But that's where I go on the weight advantage though for Loma. You gotta subtract a little bit of that power because he's going to fight the bigger guy who's been getting hit by bigger people. It's not even so much that Lomachenko is bigger.
Yeah.
He's been getting hit by bigger guys.
Well, that's true, but you carry that weight if he's carrying that kind of power from 115 where it came from, he's carrying it, that says something about his power.
Oh no, he can hit.
He can hit
hit at his weight class, definitely. I mean, that is not an argument, but again, you got to take some of that off when you move up to fight a guy who's been taking punches and who's a skill too, as Lomachenko. I mean, you kind of want to find every single advantage, and right now, I mean, the power is not going to be an advantage that Riggo has.
Yeah.
When you get to that level with those type of guys, everything counts. You need everything in the bank.
You need that whole toolbox.
Yeah,
you need that whole
you need every tool in
yeah.
the toolbox to get that job done. So
I don't know. I mean, I think it's crazy. Boxing's kind of taken a backseat to everything in the past week, and it's kind of taken a backseat to everything with everything going on in the country right now. We don't get into politics. We never do that. It's not us.
yeah, it has, but I mean, listen, it's not going to take a backseat for long. I mean, what you got?
Yeah, well, me and you are totally opposites. We're totally opposite on the spectrum of politics anyway. You're more conservative, I'm more liberal.
Exactly. Crawford got a good one coming up this weekend. Speaking of that,
In Dongo?
Yeah.
I watched Jeremy Flanagan's his page on Jeremy's fight page about the intangibles in Dongo. The kid don't look bad. My biggest problem with Ndongo is this: he throws straight punches, pretty punches, but he likes to push that chin over his knee just a little bit. Likes to keep it high in the air. And you know what's going to happen? Crawford's going to eat your ass up. You make a mistake like that.
Yeah, but he's hard to figure out too, though.
Ndongo?
Yeah.
He is awkward, but he's also still 1-2, 1-2-3. You know what I mean? He has those punches.
You've got to be able to put Crawford in a position that he's not good in, which is backing up.
That might be the way, because he does hit hard. Ndongo hits hard, and if you can back Crawford up, you have a chance. And there is a chance, but I don't think it's going to be a bad night for Crawford. I think Crawford's going to win this fight pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm not.
I think Crawford just a different level above Ndongo.
That might be something to see. You want to try and give Robert a call?
He comes on it too, right?
Well, you told me to text him. I thought.
I texted him to make sure that he was up for the interview today.
You're gonna have to come up with a lot of filler.
Yeah. Yeah, we have all
It's
kinds
a
of
lot of
things.
shit, man. We got to talk like a lot of boxing.
Well, we can talk about boxing. We can take questions and everything else too,
Yeah, being lazy.
David says the biggest use is Riggo drops.
Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate it.
Drops to southpaw feet tingling. Both are southpaws. How does the chest match position play out? David, at the end of the day, that's not a huge deal. People make a bigger deal about fighting southpaws than it really is. It's just another fighter. I mean,
Well, if you're orthodox like a southpaw, you definitely got that factor.
it's more of a head factor at that point.
But southpaw.
Southpaw, it's not a big deal.
And mainly why it's a big deal usually is because naturally there's more orthodox fighters than there are southpaw. So that southpaw is not used to fighting like a southpaw fighter.
Thank you, Daniel. It's always nice to see you on here. But no, and David's right. Bud jams up when he's clipped. We've noticed that. Remember we talked about that 2 weeks ago. When he gets clipped or when he gets pressured, what's he do? He gets jammed up or he runs backwards.
Who's that?
Crawford.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we were just talking about Lomachenko.
Oh no, Lomachenko, I can't see anything he does wrong right now.
Yeah, no, Crawford does. That's why I said that. You know, we just talked about that.
Yeah,
You made that point before. You don't like anybody coming at him.
you don't like pressure.
And you know, if you got pop, that may change his game plan a lot.
Exactly.
But,
Have you been watching some of these younger guys coming up now? Have you got a chance to?
I'm trying to catch as many as I can. And definitely big plays because that's a big topic that fans want to talk about. Casual fans.
Well, I'm
Power boxing. Yeah, they're looking into that.
Well, for the fans out here, I want you guys when you guys get a chance, keep up with Virgil Ortiz. The kid's amazing. I said it every show so far.
Yeah.
He might be 6 or 7-0. 6 and 7, 6-7-0. Just great amateur, like 14-time national champ, some crazy shit.
What are you fighting against?
These fight, I can't, I'm not allowed to say, because it hasn't been verified yet. But it'll be soon, maybe on the late August. Carter.
Okay. Thanks, Daniel. We're keeping up.
Virgil wants to know
Multitasking here.
who was Kelly's favorite boxer growing up, and is there a certain move Punchline's favorite boxing did?
No, and that's funny. I get that question. It's weird because I actually question myself.
Kelly's favorite boxer was
Yeah, it was James and Justin. No, I mean I really never had, and I can definitely be honest. I never had a role model as a fighter. There was never one fighter that I completely stuck to. You know what I mean? I liked boxing. I liked watching everybody. I mean, yeah, I had favorites to win fights, but it was different than idolizing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as copying their style and watching everything on and watching their history.
What's up, Alex? What's up, Baker?
No, there really wasn't anybody. How you doing, Joe? I'm just a fan of the sport.
Well, I had my favorites. I always had Trinidad was probably my favorite, just because his technique was perfect. What I consider perfect technique, he always had. I mean, his flaws were his chin.
And yeah, that was another thing coming up. I was playing other sports too.
Yeah.
I mean, I was fortunate enough to get as far as I did at the Junior Olympics with boxing, while playing football, while playing baseball. So I never really, even got into the history of boxing. And then I would say when I started, towards the end, close to turning pro, when I got to the open division, and then I started watching films about guys like Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Garcia and even further back. So
They said, David asked James, who was your favorite pro to spar? Oh, shit. I mean, who was the hardest or who my favorite? I got some good sparring in with Paul Spadafora. I got a couple rounds with Terry Norris, Keith Mullins, Jesse Benavides. I got some great sparring in over the years. Eddie Cook. But I think my favorite is going to be Paul Spadafora just because the things that I learned. There was a beating, I worked with him for 3 fights. At every fight, every sparring session, I think I was getting beat more and more. But what had happened was when I actually competed for the All-Army, for Army tournaments and things like that, I was beating the guys I was fighting a lot easier because the stuff I was picking up from Paul. So, yeah. I mean, Paul was the hardest work, but he was actually the most fun, I would say, because we had a lot of fun after too, And like I said, I've had some great sparring. One time I challenged Hector Camacho Sr. to a sparring match at a tournament in West Virginia. I think he was there fighting a pro fight, and I saw him in the crowd, and we were sparring, just messing around. I said, hey, how about you get in here? And he's like, no. I said, and we were, pussy, but I think Hector would have hurt me, to be honest with you. But it was fun just to call him out. I can say I called Hector Camacho out.
Hector was a great character, man. Hector Camacho.
Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it.
He always had that persona, kind of like Mayweather guy with McGregor now, talking shit and just being obnoxious, and how it's cocky, arrogant. And then, but the true thing about Hector Camacho Sr. was, as soon as that camera was off, I got to see that.
The sweetest guy in the world, right?
Yeah, as soon as the camera was off, he was the nicest, outgoing person that you ever meet. So
love kids.
He was rolling around with a kid on the ground, rubbing it, giving him a noogie on the head.
Yeah.
And people didn't, nobody really seen that part of them. The average boxing fan, they get to see that. They see the arrogant fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hector Camacho was a good dude.
Actually, you know what? Going back to that sparring question, I'm going to say the most complete and best sparring partner I ever had was Don Paul started for him. It was Panchito Bojado.
Oh yeah.
Panchito Bojado was the most perfect and most gifted fighter in the world. Like for me, if God was making a fighter at that time, perfect fighter was Panchito. He was fast, he hit hard, he had good defense. But what happens when somebody's given that many gifts? What's happening? Something always was missing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was what was going on upstairs. Was you give a kid that has nothing his whole life, and you give him $1 million, and say, "Here, have fun." And what happened? Panchito had lots of fun. But yeah, Panchito was the most skilled and the best. Maybe not as slick as Paul, but when he made you miss, you knew you were going to pay for it. So Panchito was probably the best fight I ever had.
Paul was just there to take the hell out of you in this.
Paul would slice you up. Paul had
He hit hard to the body.
and he stung you. He would sting you. And the thing is, you could hit Paul once, but you couldn't hit him 2 or 3 times after that. You weren't hitting him with a combination.
You could time. For me, I thought it was, Paul. If you started timing him, which you could, but like you said, you're only going to land that punch at
Well,
time.
But that's when we go back to you being a professional and me being an amateur. You guys are strength is timing. Amateurs, we don't have that timing skill down. We won't get that until your pro career.
Yeah, but the credit to what you're saying, I agree with you. The credit to Paul Spadafora, like even if you time that, he would, like you said, you hit him with that one. But Paul was good at it. He was always good at changing direction, even though he wasn't dancing around. But he either moved to his left or he moved to his right.
Or he put that
Or he
pinky
got
toe.
set back.
He put that pinky toe right on your toe and spin around on you, like kind of like what Lomachenko does. Paul was doing that before Lomachenko was.
You ever had to beat scoring partners for getting too serious and written down camps? No, we haven't, Dan. That's actually what we wanted. It was hard to keep sparring partners as it is, so we weren't kicking nobody out.
Yeah.
Going and major prospects in the beginning of the career, super top.
True, and you know what? Ricardo Williams to this day might have been the greatest amateur talent in the world. He was better than Floyd Mayweather, and I will say that as an amateur.
Yeah.
But like I said, when you're given those gifts, when God comes down and gives you
You can't
something,
say that because he still did not do what Lomachenko was doing.
I know, no. What I'm talking about is American.
Oh no, it was Ricardo Williams. He was about a year or two ahead of me.
He was around my time.
Yeah, and my God, I used to read on those USA boxing magazines, and he was just splattered all over.
He was on the same copy I was in.
Yeah.
I was ranked 6. I think he was like first. But the thing with Ricardo Williams was when God gives you that gift, every fighter's missing something, and his was missing something too.
Yeah.
But I think it was Cincinnati thing, the crowd. You know what I mean? I think there was a lot of that.
And again, what we tap on, being around too much and being around too long in amateur boxing, pick up that style. It's hard. That style is hard to break because you're going through all your preteen years and most of your teenager years, and even some people up into their early 20s. And that's the most important time that your body is growing and maturing. And when you're doing something every day, and not only every day, but you're doing it for hours a day, and you get into that style, and you got over 300 amateur fights, or over 250 amateur fights, even when you turn pro, that shit is hard because now your body's already, and your brain is already programmed to what you've been doing since you were a kid.
Yeah.
It's hard to get the fuck out of that.
Yeah.
It truly is, and that's why I say too many amateur fights is not good.
David said, "Thank you for cutting me out of the studio."
What do you mean?
David Schaefer said, "Thanks."
Oh, you taking selfies.
David, come over and have a beer.
Yeah. Come on, David. You come over to Poland. You don't leave us.
We didn't cut you out. We just couldn't agree on the studio we wanted.
Yeah, we have a studio. We're in a garage, dude.
We did get a tour bus though.
Yes, we did.
We got a tour bus.
We didn't get the tour bus.
We had a tour bus, but sometimes the thing that you love the most is right in front of you the whole time. We didn't know it.
And next week this is going to be badass. Seriously. Justin, you think as producer, we could give a little like peek of the outside of it for them and like what we got going on in the inside?
That's what
Oh, yeah.
Do you think we could do like MTV Crib style?
Yeah, we could do that.
Are we gonna wrap the thing with the punchline, Kelly?
You should.
Chris Kraft said he wants one round
With the bare heads, right?
with that pansy Kelly Pavlik.
Who does that?
Chris Kraft, he's joking.
I know.
But it won't be the same.
No, Chris,
Ain't
don't.
worth it, Chris.
Chris, no, don't kid, buddy. Just do it. Do it. Go up there, just punch it right in the stop rocker.
I call no balls.
David's gonna slash tires.
David Shaver sitting there at the desk. I know you're kidding, Chris.
Yeah, but probably know the guys in the amateurs that made it. Oh yeah,
Yeah, I mean.
whole shitload of those amateurs made it.
Yeah,
Well, Miguel Cotto was 2000 up in.
yeah, but I didn't fight him.
No, but I mean those guys in the amateurs.
You had, 2000,
No.
but they were top amateurs, Dorian Bovier, I fought him in the amateurs, I fought him in the pros.
Yeah.
I was actually on Showtime. I guess not, you go back and think, like, Anthony Henshaw.
Henshaw had a decent career.
Yeah.
He was 25, 28, 3 years ago.
Yeah, but you know, there's a difference, like I say, I mean, there's a difference between the pros and amateurs.
There's a level.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that stuck around too long.
Damon, anyway, I think he's one of the most complete fighters in the world. I think that when Americans open up and get to see this guy, I think that they're going to be surprised. I think a lot of them are going to forget guys like Chocolatito and Quadras for a minute because Inoue is an amazing fighter. I think he can beat both those guys right now.
But, hey Justin, they're saying that the sound echo is very bad from Facebook. Is that true?
It could. I didn't get a chance to do a sound test because you guys didn't show up on time. Hold on,
Guys, is it echoing on Facebook? Give a comment, let us know.
I can put some filters on here to try and make it better here. While it's
Yeah.
Filter that thing.
I had a question for you, Kelly. You know what? I forgot. I was meaning to ask you last night when we came on the show. I thought about it. Someone asked Kelly a question. I hadn't asked you. But I don't know.
Roger Ortiz said it's not echoing.
Thank you. It's not echoing.
It's not a,
Name where it says it's echoing.
Maybe it's your phone, David. You got that flip phone going on. What's your opinion, Damon, of Inoue? You tell me.
they say we have no one says it is okay.
You're not gonna reply back. What was the question you were asking?
You know what? I couldn't remember. It was a great freaking question. I had a great question. Like I had like an Emmy Award type question. You know what I mean? Like who's the piece of shit? But I just can't think of it. It was about your career, actually. You know, something that no one's ever asked.
I guess nobody's going.
Oh, I do remember. I do remember the question. Something no one asked. At what point? I know you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but I thought about this. A lot of pros they go do this towards the end of the career. At what point in your career did you realize, or what was going on when you realized that's enough? I don't want this anymore. I can't do this anymore.
Question. I would honestly say, and, you know, of course, everybody always says the hockey.
No, I'm not talking about fighting. I'm talking.
That's what I'm saying. That's, you know, always.
I'm talking like were you buying goldfish at the store and said, you know what? I'm not waxing anymore. You know, something.
That was totally, you know, I hate to say it, and so Robert, well, we kind of, I mentioned to him when we see him at the Robert Garcia fight.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I had to go, when Doc Rank wanted me to go to California.
I agree on
And it was crazy because, my God, the training I got out there and what I learned was just the top. I mean,
Yeah.
it was phenomenal training.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. But I'm up and I'm leaving my hometown, like I said this before. I mean, usually when you up and leave your hometown, you do that at the beginning of your career. when you're trying to make it, when you're, and you make those sacrifices.
Yeah.
You don't have kids, you don't have a family, and you go out there and that's how you make it. You get the best trainers and the best fighters, the sparring and everything else. I was already pro 12 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've already had 3 world title belts, and I already had made a shitload of money. So for me to up and leave, I had 2 very young kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And every time I leave, they make it harder for me to leave because of crying and everything else. And then,
That's just sad.
and of course, I was fighting guys, like Robert got me ready, but they put me in, and I'm sure Robert would even agree, like, he was ready. Robert's working with me, he's got all this other talent in the gym. And he's also taking the time to work with me. I'm sure he wanted to see, after maybe the Aaron Jacob fight, or even
But let's be fair, none of those other guys in the gym are bringing in money like you.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't know yet, but I know maybe so at that time.
His biggest star was Brandon Rios at the time. He was
Yeah, but
bringing
Brandon would probably make it for one of those fights in that fight. I'm sure Brandon would make more. So that was kind of for me. I mean, I'm being that serious. It wasn't Hopkins because again, like I said, nobody knows the truth about me. The Hopkins fight and Martinez, and I took those losses because I knew they didn't beat 100% count.
Yeah.
If I would have got my ass with by Hopkins and I was 100%, if I was 90% or even 85%, I would have been like, damn it, you know what I mean? I really would have been bothered in that way. But I knew what the case was. So.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. That's something I wonder, like, what goes through your mind when you know that, it's you just don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. So it is, and in that sport, especially at the top level, when you have that is time to hang them up. And Robert, we're talking about Robert Garcia, and that was kind of the same story with him. Robert was young when he retired.
25.
Yeah, he was done with it. And people forget. Like I want to mention it again. They say my career was short. I mean, I had a 12-year pro career.
Yeah.
A little over 12 years.
A 23-year career altogether.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think people just remember that they think my career began in 2007.
No.
But little do they know. I was pro in 2000.
You were on the De La Hoya Vargas undercard.
Yeah, that was
2002.
Yeah, that was 2 years after already in my pro career.
Yeah.
So no, I mean they say it's a short career. I go, what the hell do you want me to do? Fight till I can't count to 3.
And then they had a page last night saying whether you versus Danny Jacobs.
That
was fun. I don't think anybody picked Jacobs. Damon says Kelly knocks off Jacobs' ears off. I said that last night.
Why is it what's what Jacob did?
Because I'm big.
I know.
It's a big ass ears.
No, it's all because of that fight though when Triple G made him jiggle or flat.
It's a big ears. But yeah.
I'm not going to talk about it again. I look at Cadillac, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Jacob would have too much for you, but you know who like I said, would be a great fight for you. I'm gonna say it. Gerald McClellan or Prime James Tony. That would have been a fight for you. There.
One day, man, you would put me in there with like McKellen and then
Hagler.
No, Hagler. Then you put what's his name? The real hard hitting one.
Not Julian.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't cheat. You're not.
I understand, but I was like, dude, what are you trying to see? Definitely don't want to see my jaw and everything, bro. I mean, if I fight those guys back to back, Jesus,
Hey, you fought those guys back to back. You never have to.
I had a good chin, I had
you
super duper good chin.
You would never have to do anything again.
I wouldn't have wanted to test it 3 fights in a row.
They could cart you around in your wheelchair with all the bills hanging out of your pockets, with just money hanging out of your pockets.
What the hell did I know though? Who goes play over road?
I got new shoes.
Dude, listen, he was mentioning these guys. Dude, they get hit like harder than me, I think.
You can hit pretty hard.
I know, and I get hard. And these guys were great fighters. Jackson, Julian didn't have a good chin at all, and my chin was sturdy, so I would have got to his before he got to mine. But you're saying like McKellen, my God, I mean these guys. I'll be like, dude, if I had got 2 fights in a row, if I had fight them back to back.
See you later, John. But no, I was I mean it was. But they were asking me how you would do against people, so I picked the best to fight him. But you'd be in that wheelchair just Get your lap up.
I wouldn't even know how much money I had. Or what.
Oh, don't worry. You make that kind of money, you have more than enough volunteers to help you out with that, right?
I can.
Bunch of women.
Thanks, Dominic. George Ron wants to know how long have you guys known each other?
No. Well, no.
Since 2012. Right?
Yeah, I've known Kelly since the amateurs, but I didn't know him like that. But I've known of him. And about a little bit after what? You just got back from Oxnard?
Yeah.
Well, after you got back from Oxnard,
Mutual friend,
Roger, and we started. And he goes, hey, I got a buddy from Oxnard that, Roger, I got a buddy from Oxnard that lives in Ohio too, Columbus.
Yeah.
I go, oh yeah, okay. And then we just started hanging out.
When James came up to the 4th of July party.
No, you came to my house first.
Oh yeah. You know.
We tore the plant out. Remember we tore the Kate's funeral plant out of the pot?
Oh,
And we dumped a gallon of water on Roger's head. And he slept. Good times.
You should have gone out with the water.
Okay, it was water, it just wasn't purified water.
Just put urine. Oh man. Yeah. Oh yeah, the guy. And then you go back. Jesus, I watched those films, and none of the guy was saying, "No, you can hit. They get it fast. They fired and gone 2 books." Yeah. I guess the only good thing was too, though. I think more with Julian was he threw the same type punch though. His tempo was you can kind of like just keep your hands there and expect. I mean, he was all in. Everything he threw was hard.
Yeah, we had bad.
Yeah, you knew what was coming.
His son didn't pick that up. His son hits hard, but I mean his son don't have that kind of skill.
But he was quick with those punches.
Was.
Let's see here. Man, real question. We debated this for hours. What is a good chin? Eventually strong neck, muscle, good skull, good movement, and you hit one.
Follows.
Everything, yeah. The neck and the chin. How you train and how you're taught is a big thing, a big thing I like to work with young guys on. And I would even do it myself when I started getting bad habits. When I was punching, sometimes I raised my chin. I put a tennis ball under my chin, so that way your head's down. I mean, you can actually feel, if you put your chin in the air and try to turn your head, you can feel how easy it is to turn it as compared to when you got your chin down and you try to turn it. But yeah, definitely neck exercising is very key. Your chin and your chest. And then, some people's brains, everybody's built differently. Some people's brains just don't handle getting hit, no matter if they have your chin tucked or not. Getting dropped is really hard just to get knocked out by a punch to the head. When you get knocked out cold, it's usually the whiplash in the neck. And if you watch, you can see veins coming out. That is the whiplash. And I believe, I'm not a doctor, I believe there's like a little fluid sac or something that shuts off when you get your whiplash.
Like your ear.
Yeah, and I think that's it. If there's any doctor listening, you might be able to explain to me, or a neurologist, they would know more than anybody. But yeah, so some people just ain't got it, up here to take a bigger brain. They're not made for that. And some people, they are. I mean, there's some people you could twist their neck around and hit them with a hammer, and it's not going to bother them. So it all depends. But it's very important, I tell any fighter, that neck exercise is the most important thing. One of the most important things when you're doing your strength and conditioning. So, and you gotta have somebody that knows what they're doing with that also. You just screw around, do neck exercises, and not be able to turn your head for 4 days and miss training. You could overdo it, so you just gotta have somebody that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, sure. And I read an article that, they said Julio Cesar Chavez's neck, or his skull was a little bit thicker than the average skull. And that might have been why you weren't knocking him down.
Well, I did hear something for a while there too. I mean, like, what do you want to call that? Regions of the world?
Yeah.
The bodies grow. I did hear like Mexicans in South America, they had thicker skulls but smaller body frames. So we always used to say, old school, I don't know about now.
It only mixes so many different things.
Body on Mexican players.
Only mixes so many different things, nowadays. Because there's some big Mexicans out there. Look at that, Gilberto Ramirez. That's a big light heavyweight.
He was funny, man. He started at super middleweight, didn't he? Name
He
on
did.
the heavyweight?
Yeah.
But, well, I know there's more questions. Jimmy Clark. Getting to another question. Why you guys making Dave want to ask all the questions?
Yeah, I'm just looking up some of Robert's facts and details. I was wrong on one of the things. He did win the WBA, not the WBO. You know the funny thing about Robert?
Especially at that time, I don't think the WBO was.
It was just coming into his own.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Remember Oscar was like the first big champion. Remember that? When he beat Jimmy Brettle with the WBO title in '93. But it was funny. If you ever asked Robert, he used to keep his titles in the garage. They'd be on the floor in the garage, like the kids would play with them and stuff. They're not like good titles, like in a nice. They weren't. When he calls, we'll ask him about it. The titles, like you have a nice case and they're locked up and stuff. His are on the garage floor.
But he probably sent him like 5 other ones.
Probably.
Yeah.
You don't have that luxury of having one.
You guys are connects, you know. Well, when you're training guys that have a combined 50 of them on there, you know, I'm sure they'll give you.
Copy.
Yeah. I mean, don't stick your head up like Christmas Day. Do you have spell check or anything? You're
I think she's saying like a wedding day.
She's texting in person.
She's saying don't stick your chin up like a wedding thing.
Oh, you're right, a wedding day.
Yeah. Hey, Roger Romo's here.
Right, where's that?
I can see it. It's Roger. It's right here. What's up, Carlito? But yeah, I mean, so yeah, it's crazy though. Like everything's going on. So are you gonna be watching the fight this week? You watching it, Dominguez and Crawford?
I think it's going to be an interesting fight. I think Crawford's going to win the fight.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be more interesting than what people think.
Yeah.
And I say that, but I'm not betting it. And put that on the books. But I'm thinking that it will be a little closer.
Me too.
I'm not saying it's going to be a close fight, but it's going to be a little closer than what people think.
I think so too. But you think that if Dominguez is gonna fight? You really think Dominguez is gonna be there the whole time?
Even if he gets knocked out, I think he's going to put up a little bit more of a fight than what is expected. I just think he has a funny style, man.
I know. I think Crawford's just better than we're seeing. Like Crawford hasn't had a reason to really turn it up yet.
Yeah, I think I definitely probably.
I think Crawford has another level or two.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see.
I don't think we're ever going to see how good Crawford is until he fights Mikey, or he moves up to 147 and fights a Porter or a Spence or a Thurman.
I mentioned that, and I'm going back on that one of the interviews when we were at the Mikey.
Yeah.
And I got hell for that, for saying the same thing. Yeah, and these fucking people, they come on and they make comments, and they bite themselves, they kick themselves in the ass, because the next day, after the fight was over, I was reading comments, people were laughing at me, talking shit to me, because I called it right on the head, but I said the same thing about Crawford. I was saying, like, until he fights, I'm being honest about that. I said I didn't say he can't fight. I didn't say anything like that. I just said I'd like to see you more. I think you can move up weight class, which sucks because anytime you got to move out of your weight class, it's not a fair assessment. But that's what he's going to have to do eventually.
Exactly. And anything you say is going to be wrong. That's just the way it is in the media. Fans always know better. So many people, I think they live just to be dickheads.
I don't know who's on the undercard anymore. You want to answer Junior's question?
Did you guys discuss the Mary Yamaka fight this morning? No, we haven't discussed it yet. We haven't discussed it this morning, but I'm sure we'll get to it. Yeah. Well, you know what, Damon, with undercard, it'll change 20 times before that actually happens. That's how Showtime does business.
So what card is that? The Triple B?
No, the Crawford. The
Crawford
undercard. I have no idea.
I don't know either.
I'll know here in a little bit. I can look it up.
But it wasn't because of all the upcoming fights. There wasn't really much advertisement I seen for that fight.
No, it wasn't. It's kind of sad, isn't it?
I actually thought that was on ESPN instead of Showtime.
It's sad though that
You sure it's not on ESPN that fight?
I thought it was on Showtime. Let me check. Right, it is ESPN. You're exactly right.
I mean, I definitely snuck up on me at the Crawford fight. I didn't know actually until the last week.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the one thing is, I wonder why Crawford never wants to leave Omaha. Why does he want to fight Omaha so much? I mean, it's home, but that's not exactly a boxing mecca. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, I think he can definitely get more attention. You know, at the beginning of his career, usually what the promoters like to do. That was mentioned to another kid there. What promoters like to do, they like to get that kid out. You know what I mean? Like, get him a fan base all over.
Actually, one of your guys is fighting. The nail, Alexander Goivo. They went to Bronze Vest. Remember we met at the fighter we met over at the Lomachenko fight that really you guys know on well. Yes, he's fighting. Bronze medalist at the Olympics.
Yeah,
he's fighting Craig Baker.
Well, that is more interesting to watch too.
Yeah.
How many fights they show on that? Like 3 or 4?
Well, they're showing Nick Walters. Joel White, Brad Jennings, Mike Alvarado. So, I mean, I like to see Nick Walters back. He's also damaged by, you know.
I don't think he got damaged that bad. I think that was more out of frustration.
Well, I mean, just the whole mental thing, you know. But the only 2 fights are going to be shown is Alexander and Terrence Crawford. So, what do you think about the What do you think about the Conor McGregor workout thing that they're doing right now with his arms? That's the best, isn't it?
You know, I seen parts of it. You know, there was a good thing. I told the kid I was talking to last night on, you know,
you should do it.
Bullshit.
You should do it.
I don't know.
You never see the thing he does this? Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
Look it up. Look at Conor McGregor's workout.
Yeah, and the tournament girl, I want to see. I see.
Oh my
I see
God,
that part
He's
of it.
on a pair.
That's one where he was also like in the ring. And
Yeah, he's doing that thing with his arms, and everybody, even Terrence Crawford's making fun of him.
Yeah.
And then he was doing that. He was doing this uppercut. And he was bouncing foot
Yeah.
to foot. Yeah.
You know, I mentioned this to a kid last night. I was talking to a buddy of mine.
Roger, that's your guy, isn't it? That's what we met at the
Roger,
fights.
yeah, that's who you train.
Yeah.
But real quick, what I want to say is, I was talking to this guy, and he asked me about the fight and everything else, and I go, here's the difference. And I think, I don't know if you said it or not, I said, Conor McGregor is training to learn how to box,
Yes.
and Floyd Mayweather is training to fight,
Yes.
to have a fight. And that is a big difference. I mean, Conor McGregor, I did see that on Facebook too.
That thing's amazing. Are you looking at it?
I want to make sure I'm looking at the right video. Is it on YouTube or something? Can
It's
I
on everywhere. Yeah, it's on all social media.
What do I need to type in? Just
What?
I'll throw it back on the screen for you guys if I get a good clip.
It should,
Yeah.
like, look up, like, funny arm training or something. It'll have him doing the same with his arms. It's totally creepy.
Did somebody tag us in it?
I looked it up. I found it on YouTube.
There's, you know, like I said, it has, people keep putting that out there.
Cecilia knows who's training. Marco is his coach. He's one ready for this weekend. You're an assistant coach, right, Roger?
And he's sitting in the middle of the ring, like, shaking his arms out.
Yeah, that is funny.
I'll find it for you guys.
David said it's a clown act. He looks fucking retarded. Yeah, sure. Well, we're proud of you anyway, Roger. We'll be rooting for your guy. He's a nice kid. We met him in DC, I think. But I think I met him in Oxnard with you. Do you remember?
What's that?
Goyo.
Watch it? Yeah, you can go on the screen.
Put that on the big screen.
Hold on, we'll get it up there for you.
We're gonna put that on the big screen in a minute.
Yeah, we're up on the green screen. That's funny.
We need one of those pointers. This is what you don't do when you train. But we do need to put down the Polly knockdown on there and see if it really was a knockdown. Because you know what? I love Polly, but that looked like a knockdown.
It did. I mentioned that. I got a buddy who we got actually from Boston Town.
Yeah.
He teaches jiu-jitsu, has his own studio, Next Level.
Yeah.
And he's a very good friend and one of the best guys that James Pavlik.
Yeah.
And he made the comment, and I had to agree with him. I said, yes, I go, that was a legitimate knockdown.
Yeah.
It was. But again, and I'm not saying this because I want Paulie to, and I'm not saying Paulie got the better of him. I'm just going off. Paulie keeps saying, show the
The
spar.
whole video.
Show the whole video.
I want to know what happened round 1 through 10. I want to see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he keeps showing. He keeps asking, and nobody's showing it. They won't release it.
If you have 2 world-class guys sparring, you're going to take a bad round. Everybody does.
Yeah, exactly my point. So
You're going to take a bad round, and that's just the way it works. I mean, so are we going to... Did you find it yet?
I got it. I'm trying to get it
This
on here
is
good,
gonna be
so it
great.
doesn't interrupt you guys.
I can't wait to see this.
You just keep going. I'll tell you when it gets on there.
All right.
yeah, make sure.
I'm loving this green screen. I don't know about you.
Oh, dude, this is gonna be great. This green screen is gonna be something else.
Why would he want to show the video? And they went, you know what, Daniel, it's not going to matter. Mayweather don't need to see a video to see what he's going to do. Mayweather will figure you out within a round or two anyway. That's how Mayweather works. Mayweather doesn't even watch video of his opponents.
And I kind of see where Daniel's like where he's.
That's how he thinks that.
Yeah,
Of course.
but at the same time, here you got to see like Paulie's side of it. If you're going to show that shit, and it's supposed to be boxing is disclosed, and you sign the consent form,
non-disclosure, yeah.
non-disclosure form. I can see Paulie's point, like just show the whole damn thing.
If you're gonna throw me under the bus, show the whole video. You know.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that's kind of a bullshit thing to do anyway.
it is.
Just to make yourself look good. Hey, I got a good round, so I'm
But
gonna.
you got, and like I said, you got somebody who's begging, like show the sparring session, or show more than it. Should we show 4 rounds, 5 rounds?
I thought that, Questa. I actually thought that, Questa, about the height, but I don't believe Paulie's a height guy like that. I believe Paulie has a lot of pride, and that pissed him off. I don't think Paulie's not going to make anything of it. He didn't get paid for his sparring.
You let me know when you're ready, and we can play the video.
We're ready.
We're ready.
We want to show the knockdown, and I wanted to hear what you guys think.
Oh, we got the layout. I can't even go to see it on mine.
Yeah, we got it now. Oh, it took off. There it is. Oh. We're going to show warm
It's
up,
like a
guys.
snake.
What the fuck?
What the fuck is going on?
Oh my god. Dude, there has to be something as far as being a joke.
No, I mean, this is how the guy warmed it up. I mean, it's crazy.
I should have tried that. Yeah, Roger, I
Hey,
agree.
we're just back and forth. It's like we're fighting him. Look, I'm fighting him too.
That's like one of those commercial like exercising videos, or like what was that guy's name that used to teach to have that video?
Billy Blanks.
Yeah, Billy
Billy
Blanks.
Blanks, yeah.
Some Tybo.
Tybo.
Yeah,
He'd come on at 4 in the morning with that eye patch,
yeah.
trying to take your woman. Yeah. I knew what he was up to.
I know.
Kind of looking like a black pirate.
That's exactly what Connor's doing right there.
I don't know.
That's his ninja skill.
I don't know what that move is. It's like he's winding up to hit him with an uppercut.
Well, I'm getting really upset.
Dude, we need to just roast this whole thing. That's what we need to do, sit roast this for the next 5 minutes.
I know. Why did you end up taking my shit off, Dusty?
Whatever.
Well, because we're watching.
I gave it back.
I'm watching on it. We're
I
watching.
have it on mine.
What are you watching on this?
Just exit out the video, Kelly, and then just click back on it from the page. Sometimes I've had to re-click a bunch.
Look at that. Look at that, guys. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Switchfoot.
Oh.
He's going.
Watch out, Floyd! Watch out, Floyd!
He's going.
Here it comes.
Hey, do you remember Skate or Die? He's going goofy foot. Tiger going goofy foot. Tiger Claw.
You see that?
Yeah, it's not Tiger Claw.
Tire car. Okay, I used to do that right there. That's what
You did. Oh, we did that. Yeah. Yeah, but did you do this?
Oh,
Did you slip punches with only one leg and drag it last leg like you have epilepsy?
I had that imaginary rope. That was nothing under it.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that one. Oh, look at that.
That's the Axl Rose.
Yeah.
You're in the jungle, baby. You're gonna die.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, dude, Lomachenko. Look at that. Now he looks like the lead of West Side Story, doesn't he?
That was a nut tag right there.
Oh, he did it. Warriors, come out and play. He looks like the Harry Grimm Spartan. You know that grainy Harry Grimm?
Oh, here we go. Oh, that's oh.
You know the Harry Grimm Spartan tape from the 1920s that everybody relies on? That's Harry Grimm.
Right.
Where'd it go?
It was done.
Where'd it go? Justin!
I can find another one.
Keep playing, no, just keep playing it in the background the entire rest of the show.
Okay.
Even with Robert Garcia on it. We're gonna let Robert know that that's how the show's going.
Why don't we play Robert's fights in the background while we talk about
Robert knows his fights.
it? People don't know Robert's fights.
People don't know this stuff right here. This
That shit's
program.
cold.
You know how many young fighters we can get right now that are starting that training and become world champions?
Dude, we could start that right now.
I don't even want to watch that class.
The Cave Pab workout system.
Compliments of Conor McGregor, but
Well, he'll get loyal too, son.
little.
Yeah.
That's what Hey, Conor, can you show me the axle? How do you do the axle?
You know what I don't understand? How come they call it taking a dump and not leaving a dump? After all, you're not taking it anywhere. Fuck that. That was ending 60 minutes of pizza in my head, wasn't it? He is a master salesman, but you know, sometimes with sales, everything you want is not what you really want. You know what I mean? David called him Conor McGregor.
Yeah, no, he definitely got you. So I mean, that's like
You have to. I mean,
I'm allowed to sit there and pick on him though.
but for $120 million, I'd fight almost anybody. I'd fight you blindfolded. I'd be blindfolded.
I don't think Conor will make that.
He'll make it.
I don't think it. That man is making
He's getting a solid amount. He's not relying on getting receipts. Here he comes again. He looks like, you know what? He looks like the helicopter from MASH.
It's like young Robert.
He was like Dr. Wilder trying to fight.
He may want to have Deontay Wilder for some of that.
Dr. Wilder talked that. You're in the jungle, baby. You're gonna die.
I got it on loop now too, so you're set for the rest of the show.
Welcome to the jungle. Dude, we are losing viewers because
The viewers should come on and watch this.
this is great.
This is good for like everything: aerobics, football, boxing.
He looks like Roger. He looks like Roger Waters' air guitar. No, he looks like the dude from the Who's air guitar. Look at that. Oh, yeah, there he goes. That's my favorite part. Look at that.
Get that hip pull. Oh, there's a tiger claw.
Your
The only thing he's trying to cause is Bruce Lee.
tiger claw's impressive, but can it beat my dragon?
You guys love this green screen, huh?
Oh, we love it. This adds to it. This adds to it.
Sure does.
All right. Well, what we got going on now is, well, I can't get out of this whole Conor McGregor thing. He's like, we're fighting.
I can't get it on my. I can't get it. Where's my feelings?
We got Robert Garcia coming on the show, two-time world champion, and probably, in my opinion, one of the best trainers in the world. And a good friend of ours is going to be coming on the show in the next minute or so. So let's get to it.
Alright, I'm gonna give him a call.
Well, let's watch this uppercut one more time. You can't go without this. This is fucking gold. This is comedy gold, man. Wow, dude. Yeah, that's amazing.
I already got me some shopping. Alright.
Probably Bill Fletcher knowing me.
Alright, now I'm gonna put this on here, right?
Yes, but
Alright,
right
guys, and we're still working with everything we got going on here. This is all,
on, brand new.
it's all pretty cool too. It's for you guys, not us. Alright.
All right. Right, David? Chris, this is gonna be great, right?
If there's anybody who wants to call back questions too, you know.
And you can ask questions while Robert's on the air too, which is gonna be great.
Dog in your ass.
Robert!
Hello. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, Rob? It's Kelly.
What's up, Kelly? How you doing?
You're doing good, man. We're having some.
Let me get step out of the table a little bit.
Alright.
All right, man.
Yeah, we're having fun here. We got a green screen that now with our podcast. And
Yeah.
we're showing Connor new workout routine.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
So you're on the air with the Punchline with Billy Pat and James Dominguez. How are you doing there, Robert? How's everything going?
I was about to, that's what happened to me, man. That's what happened to me.
Thank you. And we're happy to get you on. So we just, we wanted to focus more of our questions today on you and not anybody else. You know what I mean? We want to know more about you.
Yeah.
Anything you want to know.
Alright.
Boxers or briefs?
How much do you have in the bank right now as we speak?
I knew something like that was coming from your Kelly.
Just give people, the record and, some of your big fights. Your memorable fights, not so much, big fights as far as network or title goes, some big fights that were influential in your career.
Look, as a fighter, of course, a lot of people might not even know that I'm a former fighter, former world champion. My record was 34 wins, 3 losses with 25 knockouts. Big fight. Probably the biggest fight was the one when I lost my title to Diego Chico Corrales. It was big, and for Diego to become a legend in boxing, to me, it's an honor to say that I lost my title to somebody like Diego Corrales.
Yeah. Wow. I would imagine too that was a big fight. And we touched on that a little bit, when I was in New York and we were talking about that, like towards the end of your career, you mentioned that you had enough. It just wasn't for you. We were talking about that. I was watching, of course, when Top Rank wanted me to go to your gym, I did some research on it and I pulled up the fights and everything. And you're a hell of a fighter,
Fast.
Yeah, definitely.
People don't give you enough credit for your speed and defense. That was one of your hallmarks. People don't see it.
Look, when I was 26, I've had enough with boxing. Honestly, I was sick of the sport, tired of the sport, and I decided to call it quits. And training fighters is what I love to do. I've been doing it since, and I enjoy it. If it's getting somebody, like you just mentioned, getting somebody, maybe towards the end of the career, and being able to at least show something of my work, on the first, second fight back. It's challenges for me. I love those challenges. Just like we did with Chino Maidana, who at one time was already planning on not fighting again, and then he comes to me and he gets the biggest fight of his life, which nobody expected him to. Those are little challenges that I like, But what really, to me, what really gives me more of a chance challenge and passion is getting a kid from his pro debut to get him into the world rankings and then eventually fight for a world title. And that's the challenge. That's the real. That's not what really teaches a trainer. When you began with a kid from the amateurs to become a world champion, that's a great feeling like that.
Yeah, where that's your job. That was your, you grew that fighter.
Exactly. That's a great feeling that getting kids from the amateurs into the pros and about world champion. That's great right there.
Yeah. So I was obviously out at your gym and trained there, and I think you had less fighters then than you do now. So I was always wondering, like, where the hell do you find the time to fit that in? I mean, you got to be at that gym, 8 hours a day.
Easy.
You know what? I start at 10 in the morning, and I don't get home till like 9, maybe 10 at night, because I have different hours for everybody. At 10 in the morning, I start with a group of fighters. Then every 2 hours. Then at 2, then at 12, at 2, 4, and at 6. So we don't end either the gym to like 8:30. So I'm about half an hour drive from home. So I don't end up getting home till like 9 at night. So it's close to 12 hours in the gym. But we love it, Kelly. It's something that I enjoy doing. I love doing it. We have great fighters, a great team, and it was hard when I was in outside. You do remember it was a lot less fighters, like you said, but the results keep coming in. With Marco Madana, with Brandon Rios, Mikey, doing good, and people start noticing that, so they start coming in, they start making phone calls, and eventually they ended up, coming to Oxnard. And when I made the move to Riverside, at first it was a very, very difficult decision to make, because Oxnard's my hometown. That's where my gym was. It was hard to make that decision. But since I made that move to Riverside, I think I'm heading towards a better decision. With so many fighters and so many young athletes that are looking very promising. I think it was the right decision.
Yeah, and another thing like on that, and see, there wasn't as many fighters. Obviously, that was 5 years ago. I can't get over that already. That I was out there.
Right.
And it seemed like yesterday. But
Wow.
yeah. But even then, you still had a gym full. I mean, I remember you were going to work with Brandon, and you still were going up to San Fran to work with Nonito, and just all the up and coming prospects that you had. And another big thing, though, which makes that camp so legit, is sparring. I mean, for any fighter at any weight class, and even if they weren't in your weight class, I think you had that one young kid that was a weight class or 2 below me that Cameron Duncan had. He could fight.
Right.
The sparring, I mean, everything that you need was just at that camp. I mean, there was no easy day of sparring.
I know.
That's true. There's always those young kids that even sometimes they're even the amateurs. This kid, I remember this kid that came in to spar with you. He was like 15 or 16, and and I was able to spar with you and do good. You don't see that. You don't see that in other gyms. You see a gym like what we had in outside, and everybody wants to just come in and try themselves out with sparring somebody like Kelly Pavlik, somebody like Brandon Rios, and it's great to be able to say my gym brings that kind of people into my gym.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. But I'm a firm believer that that's how you get better too. I mean, obviously training and learning the right things, but after you get a guy so far, I mean, I think the main job is to keep everything in order. Like if he's picking up a bad habit, you fix that bad habit, whatnot, and the biggest part then becomes the surroundings. Okay, where do you do your strength and conditioning workouts at? Who you got there? and then also the sparring partner that you have. And I mean, to run a great camp, literally everything has to be fluid. You know, everything has to be going the right way. And you guys have that out there. I mean, the coaches you got for the sport, strength and conditioning, and then again,
Right.
you know, the sparring partners, like the level of talent that you got out there for everybody to have sparring, it becomes a good thing. I mean, I would get frustrated because I would feel like my entire day is consumed, but
Right.
same time, you know, it's a great thing to have. I mean, obviously not saying it because I trained with you and you know, you're my buddy, but that's one of the camps right there, one of the best camps in boxing right now.
Really?
And it's not
Yeah,
organized.
look, Kelly. When I retired from boxing, I was sick of the sport because of all the with being doing training camps away from home and not being able to have any visits, not being able to even make phone calls. And, sometimes you have those old school trainers who don't allow none of that. But me having fun in the gym and allowing fighters, sometimes, Margarito, I don't know, really screwing his wife with him. Brandon Rios trains and goes home to his wife and kids. That I never had. My dad always took me to paper, and for 2 months, I wouldn't get out any visits, any phone calls. It was just strict boxing. And I'm not saying it didn't work for my dad, because he made me a world champion, he made Fernando a world champion, but that's not what I wanted to do in boxing. Me having all my fighters and be able to bring a friend if they want to bring a friend to the gym. Sometimes, they bring the wives. Admiral Myers is training right now. Sometimes his wife comes once a week. Mikey, my brother, he goes home to his wife every day after training. They see their kids every day. That I want to allow that. That old school mentality, I think, is what really affected me, and that's why at 26 I was sick of the sport. And allowing that in camp, you were in camp, you obviously didn't bring your kids or wife, but you had friends, you were able to come to the gym, you were happy because you knew everybody there, and everybody was friendly, everybody was like family.
Right on my
That's
car,
what I wanted to create, and so far, it's been a successful training camp. Since I started doing that, we produced world champions. We've had very good success in boxing. So what would I change it, or what would I do something different?
Yeah, you brought up a good point too with that old school mentality. I was talking with somebody about that too, and they were saying, well, what time did you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go run? I said, no, I didn't. If I trained fighters or if I was to become a strength and conditioning coach, my big thing would be what makes the fighter comfortable, first of all. Everybody's different. Some guys are not morning people, you know what I mean? Some people would go, like,
Right.
if I went and ran at 7 in the morning, sometimes I was done for the entire day. Like, my body just wasn't ready to go, through that. I would go run at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and, I was training for a title, and that's when I got the best run. So my thing would be, when my fighter is going to get the best out of that run, and then also he's going to have the rest of the day to hit the gym hard, So you kind of got to go to a point of where you keep your fighter comfortable, or without letting him get too comfortable, I guess. If that makes sense.
Of course.
Hey, Robert,
As long as the work has been done, Kenny, that's what matters. You do your running, and then you do your workout in the gym, and you do the proper sparring, because I believe sparring is very important. So as long as you do the proper sparring, it doesn't matter what time you do it. There's fighters that train at 10 in the morning. Like right now, Admiral Myers, 10 in the morning, he doesn't run in the morning, he trains in the morning, then he runs in the evening. So it doesn't matter, as long as you're doing the work, that's all that matters. My fighters, some train at 4, so they do run in the morning. Mikey trains at 6, he runs in the morning. Those that train early at 10 in the morning, then they do the running in the evening.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, Robert, we got a question from one of your fans here, David Martinez. He wanted me to ask you, what is the Oxnard style? He said he watched a bunch of Oxnard fighter footage, and he wanted to know to you, what is the trademark of an Oxnard trained fighter?
look, there's some fighters, right now that fight up. Okay, let's just let me just give an example. Like Marcos Maidana or Brandon Rios, they were brothers, and those Antonio Margarito, that was like my biggest name. That when I just got Brandon Rios, and then came up with Maidana. So everybody sees that that's the style that we teach. But I think now, after a few years, Mikey fighting very defensively.
Yeah.
And now Abner Miles being able to beat Jesus Square by boxing and I think people are still figuring out that it's not just one style that we teach or that I teach. With Brandon, with Madonna, and Mareto, they just fight forward and keep throwing punches and we'll get hit. But that doesn't mean that's what I'm teaching. Now, after a few more fighters, world champions that I've produced, I think I've shown that it's not just one style. I have to teach my fighters different styles and teach them in whatever they need to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I agree.
And I think part of being an Oxnard fighter is they're all able to adapt. They're all adaptable and change when they need it. Have different game plans.
Exactly. Every fighter, there's different game plans for every fighter and every fight, and I don't know what it is. All the fighters that I've worked with, in Alshon and now in Ruchet, they all seem to listen and follow and do what they're told. Until now, I haven't had one fighter that tries to tell me something different or tries to train differently.
Yeah.
They all do exactly what they're told, and that's what even the fighters that are still not that I'm not training with with Marcos, they're training with Marcos and Roger and Theo, and they still doing everything that Marcos did, and look, there's 5, 6, 7 guys that have a great future and will become world champions in the future.
Yeah.
A good point that you made too. When I came out there, we were sitting down talking. When I came out to train with you, you said, "Listen, I'm not going to change your style. You said you've been doing this long enough, and what I want to do is fine tune everything that you're doing." And and that right there, that was a comfortable thing. But believe me, I would have liked to have gotten back to my early days and moving a little bit. Blocking some of the punches, but. No, and that's what I was saying, like the little things that I learned, just to add on to that, unfortunately, I didn't have more time with it, but that's a big thing too, I agree. When some of these guys get these fighters, go back to maybe like with the Gotti and Buddy. He trained, he got Gotti to move, but you see what happened. As soon as Toro Gotti got hit with a big shot, all that shit went out the window. And Gotti went back to his, after all the years of fighting the way he did. And so it's hard to try to change. I mean, you're going to waste more time trying to change a guy who's just coming to you than to, work on how he fights and fine tune his skills at that level. So.
Yeah, and before we let you go, Robert, I want to verify a funny story I heard. Roger and Fernando had told me. They told me back when they were kids and your dad would take you all from the gym, that they would bring Mikey with them. And that they would have Mikey, they'd tell Mikey to tell your dad to stop and get ice cream. Because that was the only way that you guys would get ice cream if you asked Mikey to get ice cream.
Every day, yeah. Mikey was a baby. Mikey was my dad and my mom, were, I think Mikey's like 11 or 12 years younger than my youngest sister. So Mikey was the spoiled little kid, and Fernando Roger, every time Mikey was in the car after running or after the gym, Dad, you want to get some ice cream? My dad, Mikey was there, Papi, get him here, I want ice cream. And Dad would stop, and we were running after that. That is very true. Fernando Roger always did that with my little brother.
Figures was Roger and his brother.
There's so many great stories that we could go on, but right now I'm training, and I have to actually get back in there. But there's some great stories that whenever you want me again, I'll be more than happy to go over so many different stories that we have.
I would love to have you on all the time. And you know what? I want to take time out to. Me and Kelly appreciated, the time we got to talk to you in the hotel in Brooklyn. It was great talking to you, catching up.
Yeah, we'll catch up on more too, Robert. I mean, it was definitely great having you on. So go ahead and get back to work, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys, thanks for having me, and we'll talk soon.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, that was a great story though. That they're still kind of like that.
Yeah, figured it was, I don't know, Roger. They know how to work that though.
Oh yeah. Well, Junior, our show we usually try to do a Tuesday at 1, and I think we're moving to a Sunday too. Right? Is that correct?
We might be. I mean, that's
We
all
might
right
be.
here. We'll give a couple days notice on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all.
It depends how much our producer's going to charge us.
We're just happy to get a show off. Yeah. I tell you what, though, that is great. You can change that now.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's our new trademark forever. No.
Like next time, see, this is where we got, we're on what do you call it?
But we got to have all kind of funny pictures.
Hands-on training right now, on-the-job training. Next time, like when Robert comes on, just do this, Justin. Type in Robert Garcia catching pads and play. And it'll pull YouTube. So we're talking to him, you see him catching pads.
Yeah, and we can get some good like preset clips, and I can just
Yeah,
pop
we
them.
can see
I can have them pre-laid, like what you guys are talking about,
Yeah.
whether it's fight clips or anything, and
Well,
I'll have them up, and I can just click them on.
And then when we're discussing just boxing, you have like bears in the woods and crazy pictures.
Oh, sure. And we could still do some on the fly stuff too. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
What?
You do videos of your car?
The bear heads?
Yeah.
The bear heads, but I thought you guys were getting new costumes for this.
Well,
for this
I tried. They only had a tiger and
What the fuck?
Yeah, but it's a
They only had a tiger and a raccoon left. You have to go look for more after
the
this.
title would work.
We wanted to get. I wanted a unicorn.
Yeah. But anyways, dude, I'm telling you, this honestly though, Dustin, I have to admit, man, for the very first time too, it turned out very.
We're happy.
Happy as hell.
I'm
Yeah.
glad. I am to please.
We don't look like third grade.
Oh man, this is
Nice.
and it's gonna be even better when we get the RV going.
Oh yeah, our,
Watch you cut over. So just show that. Yeah, but I don't know how intrigued I am on that fight.
Karen Tate joined. She missed it. Episode 1. Thank you for showing up, brother. I appreciate it.
Well, the Karen can go back and watch it. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Alicia Taylor, hello. And then somebody was mad at us. Daniel was mad at us because it's funny that you guys are being this naive. Daniel, what would be naive about Mayweather was going to beat Conor? Because that's pretty much the general consensus.
And you think it was buttering with the video?
Yeah, I think they're a little pissed off about the video, about making fun of the video. But I mean, if
Oh,
that's
it's a
training,
video,
if
man.
that's training, I want to train like that too. I want to do jazzercise.
Wait a minute, though. What are we doing?
Maybe we'll get lucky and Connor will retweet
We didn't,
you.
like,
I didn't make that video.
yeah, we didn't make the video, or it's on YouTube. That's his training.
I know, but I'm saying if this was boxing, I should have kept boxing.
That's what
I
I'm
could
saying.
get fat
I
shit like I
understand.
am now and still boxing. That's
I
boxing.
understand he's not about those. We're just playing it on a new grid. We
Maybe it was the whole.
got this thing right now. It's fun.
Maybe it was the whole making fun of Welcome to the Jungle. Maybe he's a Guns N' Roses fan.
We were commentating his boxing style.
Yeah, but we're making fun of Welcome to the Jungle. You're gonna.
Oh, no, see, you make fun of Axl Rose. I didn't.
Yeah, they're stepping over the line.
Yeah, we
You know, this is the line, and this is life.
Axl.
This is politics and life, and this is Axl Rose. We stepped over it.
We entered the Axl
Forget that we're going to a nuclear holocaust, right?
Yeah.
Forget that we're possibly going to a nuclear holocaust, but we pissed off Axl Rose.
You can't do that, though.
Yeah.
Axl is the shit.
Imagine if you stepped the other line and insulted Sebastian Bach.
Skid Row can't go
Skid
there.
Row. 18 alive, no more.
Or, oh boy, I'm
See, we're
bad
trouble.
at What's, never mind, I can't say it.
He's doing training some people like you are fool, just like Mayweather. People like
You can
people.
sell that.
Yeah. Well, we're not fooled. I mean, I realize that he is a professional fighter, and he's going to land his share of punches. But that's going to end like after the second or third round. He's going to get hurt.
And Daniel, like we're joking around because it's a funny fucking video. I mean, it's funny. We're joking around because the shit's funny. It has nothing to do with the fight. We know we're not naive. I have been doing this long. I've had many camps and things that happen in camp. Personally, me personally was getting ready to fight on the world championship level, so I know the trickery and everything else that goes into a camp and making other people think what's going on or that you're struggling with weight. I know that.
Let's be honest. If you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. That's the truth.
Watching end up beating Floyd Mayweather too.
You know what? The show's not about if he beats Floyd Mayweather, we're going to take a hiatus.
Close down.
Close down the show. It'll be the punchline with nobody.
You guys be like Step Brothers. What the fuck just happened?
This is a planet bullshit.
This is.
Hey, we need to have Shark Week in the background.
Yeah.
Shark Week just going on. Remember
I
that?
get some Step Brothers real quick. Yeah.
Like a bunch. Well, you want the nutsack on the drum or what?
This house
Let's do the couch. Remember they were on the couches?
Hey,
They were all.
this shark ass is a prison. In a galaxy of this sucks camera.
Well, that shark got major error.
Thank you, yeah. Sorry,
Take Mayweather versus McGruber. Really accident, bad accident. You don't want to, but it's a great show, guys. Watch that. Thank you, Quest. I appreciate it. But no, I mean, look, I'm not taking anything away from McGregor. He's a great fighter. He's a great MMA fighter. Let me say it again. Great MMA fighter. And I've trained capital M, capital M, capital A. I've trained guys in the MMA. I've actually trained guys that in the UFC. And there's a difference between boxing and there's a difference between MMA.
Okay, you're really taking the time to explain it.
I have to. I mean, I have to explain it.
Just real quick, like, what we keep saying. I mean, one is a boxer, one's an MMA fighter. And yes, I'm not naive. If Conor McGregor was fighting Floyd Mayweather in the octagon, see, here's where somebody that is a combat fan or a boxing fan, an MMA fan, will tell you the truth. If it was in the octagon, obviously I would think Conor McGregor.
Well, case in point, anybody that wants to watch, Jose Aldo is training with Robert Garcia, who we just had on the show. He's been sparring with Olympic gold medalists from South America. Jose Aldo has been getting the shit beat out of him. So go ahead and YouTube it, and that'll pretty much put this all to rest. It's different.
Let's have the comments.
I'd like to apologize for language ahead of time. We have.
He could put up a green screen and have all this stuff. So
We can't even have a nice green screen anymore.
Can't
Oh,
make
Shark
it
Week!
Shit, man. Come on.
Shark Week!
Oh,
Shark Yes! It really got air on that one.
can we play that? Can we get audio on that?
Yeah, I got the audio tied to your mic. It might cut if I do it midstream.
We're just getting everything going.
You let me know this ahead of time. I'll put 2 audio feeds on there.
Yeah, Margarito Carson Jones is fighting. I think Margarito probably going to lose, to be honest with you, Taylor. Yeah, I mean. It's class.
In a galaxy of this sucks camera. Well,
I want to find a shirt like that. Don't you with the shoes on it?
we're gonna close shop up to today because we only have one guest,
Yes.
which was great though. I mean, my God, I hope everybody enjoyed that.
And Damon, thank you for all the questions today. Keeping us in there.
Thank everybody for their questions, and Daniel, thanks, man.
Thank you for your questions too, Dan. I appreciate it and your comments.
And watching. And stay tuned next week. Not guaranteed yet, but I think we're leaning towards Bronco McCart.
And
Maybe
three-time world champion Mikey Garcia.
And then we know in due time we're going to get Paulie on. He's been busy this weekend. He texted me back, and he's got stuff going on. He cannot make it this weekend.
Paulie's had a busy week. You know, let's be honest. Paulie's had a busy week, and I think the last thing he wants to do right now is again.
Exactly, and I respect that more.
He's doing something. He has a TV show though. What's that TV show he's doing about the best food? He's doing that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, the
well, Amy knows.
Amy, yeah.
She put on a comment.
Yeah, he's doing a show about finding the best food in New York, and he went to the best pizza in Brooklyn where we ate. And I didn't think it was the best pizza, Kelly. I thought it was average pizza, and we paid that much money because it was.
What I'm saying is when you eat Youngstown, homemade Youngstown, I would go in there, and the one guy told me before, he was like, "You gotta be crazy. Listen, I understand you don't got better pizza, but you gotta freaking pizza shop on every other corner in New York.
Yeah.
And Youngstown, you got more pizzas on one block to the side of Youngstown. You know, so when you get some pizza from Youngstown, there's like 4 places, or three top places that I would compete with a lot of New York places.
I like, what's that one?
You got,
I like
Uptown,
Uptown's one of my favorite.
Wedgwood's my personal favorite.
And then
Belleria.
Belleria.
And-
You want Belleria?
No, I don't know.
I'm shaking your head, no, I go, we're gonna go you the Sharks.
I was trying to tell you, no.
We got sparring, Kelly.
You like Wedgwood?
I don't think he's ever had Woodward. They don't deliver. It's a drive for us.
But
We
like
got
I said,
that.
it was a great show today, and I want to thank
Yeah,
everybody.
give your name real quick. This is our producer's kids, his 2 sons, who've been here and have been enjoying, and they've done a great job. They
Yeah.
have distracted us.
They love the language.
And
It's a kid-friendly show.
Raj, Mr. Boot,
Connor,
Connor,
Hayden.
Kate. Thank you guys. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, man. Why can't they keep doing this? Like, this is amazing.
Well, you can always come to the RV too and check it out.
Yeah. Oh, that's what we'll do next week too. We'll do a cribs skip
do a
walkthrough of
We gotta
the.
buy some. We gotta
the
buy
bars.
Cristal.
Maybe the chandelier side of it too.
Cristal, and then we gotta have dinosaur eggs. Remember when the ship fell? We had the dinosaur eggs, and the dinosaurs had this thing. This is the most gangsta shit ever. You ever see that? And the dinosaur's head was like all chewing out of the egg. You should put that in the background.
We can do that.
But like I said, it was a great show,
Yeah.
and thank you for getting Robert on. I feel like a nuisance because I always have to call everybody. I'm like that guy. Like, oh shit, wants to interview him.
Well, Amy's on a lot of people too.
I know, but Amy is a nuisance. That's her job.
Yeah.
To be a nuisance. It's not our job.
Ooh, Amy, did you hear that?
She knows.
Ooh. All right. Well, we will see you guys next week, and we'll keep everything updated on it too. So.
All right, and if you have any questions, they can still be asked, and we'll still answer them, even though on the show. And good luck, Daniel, with the team of Gregor. I mean, he's a great athlete, and I'm sure anything can happen. It's professional fighting. One punch can change everything. Have a good one, guys.